After my accident, Dad texted, "Can't this wait?" As if a crumpled pickup truck and a lifetime of pain could be sidelined like a delayed oil change. 3 weeks later, I arrived with the papers he feared most, the ones that would unravel the empire he'd built on my silence. But by then, the betrayal had festered so deep it wasn't just about justice anymore. It was about dragging him into the same hell he'd shoved me. I remember the screech of tires that night like it was yesterday, though it was 6 years ago now. Back when I was 22 and still believed blood meant something unbreakable. The rain was coming down in sheets on I-80, somewhere between Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, the kind of storm that turns the plains into a black mirror, reflecting every bad decision back at you. I'd been driving Dad's old Ford F-150, the one with the dented fender from his business trips to Chicago. He'd called me frantic, voice slurring over the line. "Oakley?
Kid.
I need you. Flat tire.
Or.
Hell. Just come get me. Pronto." No details. Just that edge in his tone that always meant trouble. I should have hung up. God. I should have hung up. But I didn't. I floored it out of my shitty apartment in Council Bluffs, the wipers slapping uselessly against the downpour. My headlights caught him on the shoulder, thumb out like some broke-down drifter. But it was Dad, 6'2", broad as a barn door, soaked to the bone in his cheap suit. He wasn't alone. There was a woman with him, mid-30s maybe, huddled under his jacket, her face pale and streaked with mascara. I didn't know her then, but I learned fast. Lena, his associate from the firm. The one who'd been siphoning funds from his construction company for months. I pulled over, heart pounding. "Get in," I yelled over the wind. Dad bundled her into the back, then slid shotgun, reeking of bourbon and desperation. "Thanks, son," he muttered, clapping my shoulder too hard. "You're a lifesaver." We peeled out, the truck hydroplaning on the slick asphalt. That's when he dropped it, casual as lighting a smoke. "Oakley, listen. There's been an incident at the site. Money's gone missing. Cops are sniffing around. If they pull us over..." He trailed off, eyes on the rear view, like ghosts were chasing us. I gripped the wheel tighter. "What the hell? Dad, what did you do?" "Not me," he snapped.
Too quick.
"It's her, Lena. She's the one who cooked the books. But if it comes out, the whole company's toast. Your future, my retirement gone. Lies. Even then, I didn't know it was him pulling the strings, forging signatures on those multi-million-dollar contracts with the state highway department, skimming kickbacks from subcontractors who'd cut corners on rebar and poured foundations that crumbled in the first freeze. He'd framed Lena from the jump, planted the evidence to make her the fall guy. But that night, with sirens wailing distant in my imagination, he needed a shield.
Me.
The truck hit black ice at 70. I corrected too hard, always the overcompensator, and we spun. The world tilted. Metal screamed. Glass shattered like brittle promises. Lena's scream cut short as we slammed into the guardrail, flipping once, twice, before settling upside down in the ditch. I blacked out to the smell of gasoline and her gurgling silence. When I came to, it was paramedics prying the door off. Dad, already out, miraculously unscratched, barking orders like he owned the scene. "My boy's hurt bad, get him out." Lena wasn't moving. They said later it was internal bleeding. Instant. But the cops? They pinned it on me. Reckless driving. Underage drinking, though I'd had one beer hours earlier, and, oh, yeah, the dash cam Dad forgot to mention. Doctor to show me swerving wild. He testified at the hearing, eyes wet with fake grief. My son. He's a good kid. Your Honor. Just a tragic mistake. I got 5 years probation. A felony on my record that killed any shot at a real job, and a limp that flares up in the cold like a guilty conscience. He visited me in the hospital once. Before the plea deal. Sat by the bed with a bouquet of gas station carnations. The ones that wilt before you get them home. You saved us. Oakley. The company's safe. We'll beat this. Then, that text 3 weeks after my accident, the one that shattered my femur and any illusion of family. I'd called from the rehab center. Voice raw from pain meds. Dad, I need help. Bail. Lawyer something. His reply buzzed in. Can't this wait? Like I was an inconvenience. Not the son who'd just taken the rap for his greed. That was the hook that sank deepest. Not the crash. Not Lena's death, though her ghost haunts the quiet hours, but that dismissal. It cracked open the vault of secrets I'd buried for him.
See.
It wasn't just the embezzlement. Dad had been running that scam for a decade, ever since Mom walked out on his infidelities and left me to pick up the pieces. He'd groomed me for it young. Family first. Oakley. We cover for each other. But covering meant carrying. When I was 16, it was forging his timesheets at the mill to hide his absences, poker nights that bled into dawn. By 18, it was driving the getaway when he repossessed tools from a rival crew, tools that turned out stolen. And Lena? She wasn't the villain. She was collateral. She'd found the ledgers, confronted him, and instead of firing her, he seduced her into silence, then pinned the crash on me to tie up loose ends. I pieced it together in fragments, like a hangover puzzle. Letters from her sister post-crash. Anonymous at first, then bolder, he killed her. You know it. Court transcripts I shouldn't have accessed, but did. From a public terminal in the library. Dad's signature on falsified reports. My name stamped over his in the police file. The limp was nothing compared to the rage. It burned slow, like peat fire under Nebraska soil. 3 weeks after that text, I showed up at his door in Lincoln. The papers clutched like a loaded .38. Not a gun, I'm no killer, but these? Affidavits from ex-employees. Bank records subpoenaed through a pro bono lawyer who'd taken pity on my tragic tale, and a flash drive of emails where Dad bragged to his poker buddies. Kids none the wiser. Took the hit like a champ. The house was the same McMansion he'd bought with dirty money, faux brick facade. 2-car garage with his new Escalade gleaming. Suburbia swallowing sin. He answered in boxers and a wife-beater, beer in hand, eyes narrowing at the envelope. Oakley? Christ. What the, it's 2 a.m. Can't this wait? I echoed, shoving past him into the living room. The place reeked of stale takeout and regret, framed photos of us fishing at Lake McConaughey. Me gap-toothed and grinning. Him with that wolfish smile. Lies. All of it. He closed the door slow. Calculating. What's this about? You look like hell. I slapped the envelope on the coffee table, scattering coasters. It's about everything. The crash. Lena. The money you bled from those bridges that collapsed last winter, 2 workers dead because you cheaped out on steel. I took the fall.
Dad.
For you. His face didn't crack. Not fully. Just a flicker. Like a bad bulb. You were driving.
Son. Drunk.
That's on you. The dash cam said that? The one you edited? I pulled out the drive. Plugged it into his smart TV. The real footage played, him arguing with Lena in the back. Me steady at the wheel until his hand jerked it. Desperate grab for her arm during their fight. You caused it. And you let me rot. He sank into the recliner, rubbing his temples. It was an accident. All of it. The books. I was protecting us. From poverty. From your mother's ghost. You think I wanted this? Protecting? You texted me to wait while I was in traction. My voice broke, but I held his gaze. Rain pattered the windows. A drumbeat to the storm building. For a beat, he softened, reached for the old man act. Oakley?
Kid.
Let's talk. I can make it right. Job at the firm. Clear your record. Family sticks together. But I saw the shift coming. The way his eyes darted to the kitchen drawer where he kept the checkbook. Bribes first. Threats later. That's Dad, Mosaic Man. Flipping faces like channels on a busted remote. Or what? He pressed. Voice hardening. You gonna ruin us? For some dead secretary. Lena had a name.
And a family.
Like I did. Before you. He laughed then, bitter and low. You were always soft. That's why you took the blame. 'Cause you're too weak to fight your own wars. That was the spark. I grabbed the papers, stormed out into the night, but not before whispering, watch your back, Dad. Blood's thicker than water. But revenge? That's oil on flames. Little did I know, he'd been 2 steps ahead. Always. The real betrayal? It wasn't just the past. It was the present he'd poisoned while I healed. The weeks blurred into a haze of burner phones and back alley meetings. The kind of shadow work that turns a man hollow. I holed up in a no-tell motel off the interstate. The kind with vibrating walls and roaches that scatter like secrets when you flip the light. My limp throbbed worse in the damp chill. A constant reminder. But pain sharpened focus. I wasn't Oakley the screw-up anymore, no. I was Oakley the ghost, haunting the man who'd buried me alive.
First order, allies.
Not friends. Those were luxuries for the innocent. I started with Lena's sister, Maria. Found her through that letter. A chain smoker's rasp on the line when I called from a payphone. You got balls showing up now, she spat. But agreed to meet at a taqueria in South Omaha. The one with plastic mariachi statues guarding the door. She was wiry, eyes like chipped flint, nursing a horchata that went untouched. I didn't kill her, I said flat, sliding a photocopy of the real dash cam still across the scarred table.
He did.
Used me to cover it. Maria's fingers drummed the formica, nails bitten to nubs. I know. Cops buried it, his donations to the fund, his golf games with the chief. Lena told me everything before. That night. He promised her the moon, then strung her up as the thief. She leaned in, breath cinnamon sour. What do you want?
Kid?
Absolution. Ammunition. I tapped the photo. Testimony. Anything to bury him. She eyed me long, then nodded. For Lena. But if you flake, I'll gut you myself. Her words hung controversial, vigilante justice in a booth smelling of grease and grief. Was I any better? Dragging her into my vendetta? Split sides already, even in my own head. Next. The ex-employees. I tracked them via LinkedIn ghosts and bar tabs, guys Dad had stiffed on paychecks. blackballed from the industry. Met Raoul in a VFW hall. Him in a faded Huskers cap, nursing a bud that sweated rings on the bar. He shorted us on the overpass job, Raoul growled, voice gravel from years of site dust. Told us it was team building when we worked OT unpaid. Then blamed the union for the collapse. 2 dead. Like it was their fault. I showed him the ledgers. Redacted, but damning. You in? He hesitated, glancing at the door, like spooks were listening. Man's got pull. Ruins lives. But the fire in his eyes said yes. Controversial? Hell yeah, whistleblowers get painted as rats. But silence kills slower. With their statements stacking like dry tinder, I filed the civil suit anonymously through Maria's lawyer contact. A shark named Ellis who worked pro bono for the little guys but smelled blood in the water. Embezzlement. Wrongful death. Fraud. This could topple his whole operation. Ellis grinned over coffee in his cluttered office. Diplomas yellowing on the wall. But expect pushback. Hard. He wasn't wrong. Dad's first flip came subtle, a concerned call to my motel. Voice paternal syrup. Oakley, I know you're hurting. Come home. We'll fix this, therapy, whatever. I traced it later. He'd bribed the front desk for my room number. When I ghosted, it escalated. My truck, the one I'd salvaged from impound, got keyed with snitch in the lot. Then the anonymous texts, drop it or join Lena. Attached photo, me at the taqueria. Maria's face blurred but recognizable. Panic clawed, but rage tempered it. I moved to a cousin's basement in Des Moines, distant kin. The kind who ask few questions for a six-pack. There, I dug deeper. Hacking public records on a library laptop, nothing fancy. Just persistent Googling and FOIA requests. That's when the real secret surfaced. The one that twisted the knife. Mom hadn't just left. Dad drove her out. Bank statements showed withdrawals in her name, framed as theft to discredit her custody bid. She'd OD'd 2 years after. Pills in a Reno motel. His fault. Layered under mine. It humanized him. In a sick way. The cunning bastard wasn't born evil. Poverty in the Dust Bowl echoes of his youth warped him. Granddad's farm foreclosed in '08 crash. Dad clawing up through sweat and shortcuts. But understanding didn't forgive, it fueled. Controversial decisions loomed. Do I expose the whole rotten core? Tanking jobs for innocence at his firm? Or surgical strike? Just him? Side split. Mercy felt like weakness. The flip that gutted me came mid-suit prep. Ellis called. Your dad's countersuing. Alleges you fabricated evidence. Unstable from the accident. Got psych evals claiming PTSD delusions. Attached, a forged report. My signature. Wait. No. A scan of my old probation file. Twisted. He'd flipped the narrative, painting me the villain. Mosaic Man. Indeed. I drove back to Lincoln under cover of dusk. Pulse hammering. Papers 2.0 in the glove box, now including Mom's coroner's addendum.
Hinting foul play.
Parked a block from his house. Watched shadows play across curtains. He was inside. On the phone. Gesturing wild.
To who?
I slipped closer. Ear to the screen door. Yeah? The kid's cracking. We'll bury him like the rest. Laughter. Then, Lena was loose ends. This, cleanup. But the voice on the line, familiar rasp. Maria? No, wait. Ellis. My lawyer. In Dad's pocket. The betrayal echoed, deep as the crash. Two-faced. Both of them. I reeled back, nearly retching in the azaleas. Trust?
A joke in this family.
That night, I broke in simple. Window latch jimmied with a credit card. His office. Oak desk. Walls lined with plaques for Contractor of the Year. Safe cracked easy. I'd watched him as a kid, pretending to nap. Inside, cash stacks, more ledgers, and a letter.
To me,
Dated post-crash. Son, if you're reading this, forgive me. It was for us. Bullshit poetry. But tucked behind, photos. Me and Mom. Pre-split. Him. Younger. Smiling genuine. A flicker of what could have been. Tears stung. But I pocketed the evidence. Sirens wailed distant. Had he tripped silent alarm? I bolted. Heart seismic. Revenge wasn't clean anymore. It was muddied with maybe he loved me. Controversial as hell. Who's the monster now? The betrayer or the sun stealing shadows? Dawn broke gray as I hit the highway. Mind racing twists. Dad's next move? Total war.
but mine?
I'd flip it back. Make him choose. Empire or empire of lies crumbling. The countersuit hit like a sucker punch. Splashed across the Omaha World Herald. Local contractor sues son in fraud scandal. Dad's photo beaming beside it. Mine a blurry mug from probation days. Painted me unhinged. Him the victim, dad fending off a troubled heir. Social media ignited. Armchair juries splitting. Justice for Oakley trending faint against protect our jobs. Blue-collar warriors decrying my ingratitude. Controversy brewed hot. Was I the vengeful psycho? Or the whistleblower hero? Sides cleaved the heartland. Truckers at diners muttering I'd gone Hollywood, while women's groups rallied for Lena's memory. Petitions circling like vultures. I ignored it, burrowing deeper into Des Moines anonymity. Cousin Ray's basement smelled of mold and motor oil, his garage tinkering a cover for my war room. Laptop glow the only light. I mapped Dad's web, subcontractors in his pocket, city council golf buddies, even a judge who'd handled similar beefs. The cunning rat had tentacles everywhere, flipping allegiances with checks and charm. But every empire has cracks. I found one in Tommy Voss, Dad's old foreman, now sipping disability in a trailer park outside Kearney. Met him at a roadhouse. Jukebox crooning Waylon. Air thick with fry grease. Tommy was a bear of a man. Guts spilling over his belt, but eyes sharp as rebar. Heard you're stirring shit, he rumbled, cracking peanuts into a bowl. Good. Man's a snake, slithered over my pension when the '08 bust hit. I slid him a beer. Talk.
He did.
Slow at first, then torrent. Dad hadn't just skimmed, he'd rigged bids. Buried OSHA violations. The overpass collapse? Not weather, shoddy welds Tommy flagged. Ignored. Told him it'd kill folks. He laughed. Collateral's tax write-off. Tommy's voice cracked. Lost my boy in that mess, apprentice. Green as grass. Crushed under steel that should have held. My stomach turned. More ghosts. Why now?
Age.
Cancer chewing my liver. No more fearing pink slips. He signed my affidavit, hand steady despite the shakes. Controversial gold, a dying man's truth. But dragging a widow's grief into court felt like grave robbing. With Tommy's ink drying, I leaked to a blog, alt-weekly type. Hungry for clicks. Story dropped viral. Highway to hell. Corruption in Nebraska construction. Dad's stock plummeted. Clients pulled contracts. He flipped frantic, VLIC emails to loyal staff. Family emergency. Stand by me. But cracks widened. Raoul called. Walkout starting. You're doing? Us, I corrected. Alliance felt real, fragile as frost. Then the pushback bit hard. Ray's garage torched one night, arson. Cops said, no leads. I woke to sirens. Smoke acrid in my throat.
Ray?
Coughing embers. Get out.
Oak.
This ain't worth it. He was right. Flames licked my heels as I grabbed the laptop, bolting into the dark. Homeless now. Crashing in a Greyhound station. Paranoia my blanket. Dad's texts escalated. End this? Son. Or I will. Attached, Maria's address. Circled in red. Threat veiled as concern. I warned her, voicemail. Frantic, he's coming. Run. She called back. Voice ice. Too late. Ellis flipped, your lawyer. Sold you out for a cut. No shit. But her tone. Off. Calculating. Doubt nod. Was Maria playing both? Lena's sister. Or Dad's plant? I drove to Omaha, staking her duplex from a coffee shop across the street. She emerged midday, duffel slung, glancing over shoulder. Tailed her to a bus depot, heart thudding. She boarded a Greyhound East Chicago. I couldn't follow. Funds dry, plates hot. Instead, I hit Dad's firm. Infiltrated as a temp, fake resume, ball cap low. Offices buzzed tense, whispers of layoffs. His corner suite, mahogany throne, but desk chaos, bills piling. Whiskey bottles half empty. Rifled drawers while he lunch met schmoozers. Found it. Burner phone log. Calls to Ellis. Sure, but Maria too. Dates synced to my leaks. She's his eyes. I breathed. Gut sinking. Flip within a flip. Dad outsourcing betrayal to the grieving sister? Or was she the spider, weaving us all? Confronted her voicemail. Explain. Or I go public, your ties too. Silence answered. Rage boiled to decision point. Expose her. Fracture the alliance? Or play along? Bait the trap? Controversial calculus. Who hurts more? The betrayed or the betrayer with cause? I chose bait. Leaked bogus docs to Ellis. Smoking gun. Dad's offshore accounts. Knew it'd funnel back. Sure enough. Sting op at a state park overlook. Me meeting a contact. Actually empty air. Dad's goons jumped early. 2 meatheads from the crew. Bats swinging. I dodged. Limp screaming. But they cornered me against the rail. Message from the boss. One grunted. Aluminum whistling. Crack. Bat grazed my ribs. Breath exploding. I countered wild. Keys gouging one's cheek. Fought dirty. Knee to groin. Elbow to throat. They fled when headlights swept. Park ranger. Thank Christ. Bruised. Bloodied. I laughed manic.
Alive.
And proof. Dash cam on my phone. Faces clear. Uploaded anonymous to the blogger. Assault on whistleblower. Contractors thug strike. Public split wider. Stand with Oakley surged. Protests at City Hall. Dad's empire teetered. Shares tanked. Feds sniffing IRS angles. But the personal flip gutted. I confronted Ray over burnt beams. You knew? About Mom? He sighed, stamping a cigarette.
Guest.
He called once. Posted. Keep it family? Ray. Blood's curse. It humanized the monster, Dad. Broken boy in man's clothes. choices chaining us. Yet controversial. Pity the devil. Or slay him. As sirens faded, I vowed the climax. Face him. Force the choice. No more proxies. Just us. Papers and phantoms between. The storm broke literal that night, thunder rattling the station benches. Sleep evaded, dreams of Lena's eyes. Accusatory. Tomorrow. Lincoln. Endgame. The drive to Lincoln felt like Judgment Day. Wipers battling a squall that mirrored the turmoil in my chest. I'd rented a beater Civic from a shady lot in Des Moines, cash. No questions, its heater wheezing like an old man's confession. My ribs ached from the beating, taped under a flannel shirt stiff with sweat. But the limp? That was psychosomatic now, fueled by the weight of what came next. No more leaks. No shadows. Face to face. Papers in hand, the full arsenal, affidavits, videos, even a whistleblower hotline tip to the FBI queued on my phone. One tap, and his world imploded. Public heat had scorched him raw. Protests clogged downtown. Pickets waving justice for the fallen signs, Lena. The overpass victims. Even mom's name whispered in women's circles. Media swarmed. Local news vans at his gate. A 60 Minutes teaser, hinting national. Dad's flips accelerated, press conference that morning. Voice booming on my radio. My son's suffering delusions from trauma. We're family. This hurts us all. Crocodile tears. But the crowd ate it, blue-collar loyalty. Fear of job loss. Sides polarized vicious. Online forums erupted, half hailing the Avenger, half doxing my safe spots. Controversy peaked. Was revenge righteous? Or destructive ego? I parked 2 blocks out. Dawn graying the suburbs. His McMansion loomed. Lights blazing, sleepless vigil? Slipped the fence like a thief in my own bloodline. Azaleas crunching underfoot. Back door, unlocked. Arrogant or inviting. Inside. The kitchen clock ticked accusatory. 5:17 a.m. Coffee pot gurgled fresh. He'd heard me coming. Oakley. His voice from the living room. Calm as a loaded chamber. I stepped in. Envelope thick as a Bible under my arm. He lounged in the recliner. Suit pressed. Tumbler in hand. Bourbon at breakfast.
Classic.
No fear. Just that mosaic mask. Shifting from weary dad to cornered wolf. Surprised? I rasped, ribs protesting the stance. Expected. He sipped. Eyes appraising. The thugs were a mistake, freelancers. Overzealous.
E coding off.
Liar. I tossed the dash cam clip printout. Goon's face circled. Feds have it now. Your choice, confess. Or they drag you. He chuckled low, setting the glass down deliberate. Always the dramatic one. Like your mother. The name hung. A gut shot. Don't. Why not? She was dramatic too, running off. Leaving us to rot. Flip. Victim now. Eyes glistening. I built this for you.
Kid.
After she bailed. OD'd on regret. You think I don't carry that? You drove her to it. I flung the coroner's addendum. Pills laced. Suspicious. Framed her theft. Cut her off. Then used me to forget. His mask cracked. Fist clenching the armrest.
She was weak.
Leaving her boy me to scrape by. I did what I had to. Voice rose.
Raw.
The company? It was survival.
Lena.
She knew the game. Played it wrong. Wrong? You seduced her. Then sacrificed her. Envelope spilled. Photos. Her emails begging mercy. And the crash? Your hand on the wheel. Silence stretched. Thunder rumbling distant. He rose slow, towering. But I held ground. Limp be damned. You want truth?
Fine.
I jerked it, fighting her hysteria. But you drove. You chose to come. Chose? You called. Reeled me in. My voice broke. Controversial core. Blame shared? Had I enabled? Blind to flags? He stepped closer. Breath bourbon sour. Family covers. You took the hit proud, my boy. Hand on my shoulder. Paternal grip.
Softening.
Drop it. We rebuild. Pardon your record. Stake in the firm. BS again. Temptation lanced. Visions of normalcy. Fishing trips untainted. But Maria's face flashed. Tommy's grief. Too late. People died. For progress. His flip to philosopher.
Sly.
Roads don't build themselves clean. You expose me? Jobs vanish, families starve. That your revenge? Be the villain. Sides split seismic, his logic twisted true. Ruin him. Ruin innocence? Or forgive? Perpetuate the cycle? Heart hammered, decision loomed. Controversial as sin. Then the twist door burst. Feds invests. Jack Harlan. Hands up. Not my tip, his. Maria. Flanked by Ellis. Pointing, he's armed. Inside threats. Betrayal's queen. She'd flipped ultimate. Grief's mask for greed. Dad's payoff for her cooperation. But wait, her eyes met mine.
Wink.
No. Gun in her waistband. Trembling. Chaos. Dad lunged for the safe. Feds tackling. I froze. Then Maria's whisper as she passed. Your mom's letter real. In his desk.
End it.
The real flip. She wasn't his. She'd played double. Feeding me crumbs while building the case. Lena's justice. Not vengeance. Feds cuffed Dad. His roar. You set me? Oakley. No. I murmured. Pocketing the letter as they hauled him. We did.
Outside.
Rain lashed. Maria vanishing into the storm. Happy? Tragic? Dad's empire crumbled.
But mine?
Rebuilt on shards. Twist. The papers I feared most? Mom's forgiveness. Absolving us both. Debate eternal. Who redeemed?
Who damned?
As taillights faded, I limped to the Civic. Horizon pinkening. Can't this wait?
No.
But healing? Maybe.